The following debate is brought to you by IntelliSolutions. We have the solution.
Welcome to the AB Youth Media Debate.
We're debating the Super Mario 3D World is the best Mario game.
And we're debating that Super Mario 64 is better.
In 1964, Shigeru Miyamoto was born. Shigeru Miyamoto was born. He was born in 1964, and he said to his mother, "Mother, I want to create the best 64-bit video game of all time." And so, 45 years later, in 1996, he created the best video game of all time, known as Super Mario 64. Here's why we're right. So essentially, first off, Super Mario 64 is really good because not only did it stand the test of time, it's lasted and have a thriving community even to today, but it was amazing and influential back then. No other game could have done what Super Mario 64 did to the 3D platformer genre, okay? 3D World or any of the subsequent 3D Mario games couldn't have existed without Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64 is like one of the most influential things, and 3D World just cannot compare to it.
Exactly, and think about the speedrunning community. What kind of speedrunning community does 3D World have, right? Like 3D World is basically just a glorified fight your friends in the game to get to the end game. But Super Mario 64 is serious for serious gamers, and it invented the collectathon. The BLJ is so revolutionary, people still talk about it today. Watch Summoning Salt and tell me I'm wrong.
Without 64, what would 3D World even be without 64, huh? It'll be nothing.
It would be nothing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't exist.
Go ask like a random person in New York, do you know, have you played 64? The chances are yes.
Yes, they have.
They have.
3D World? Pfft, no.
Super Mario 3D World's pretty cool. It's it got some nice movement and stuff, and it's got power-ups too. You've got like cat girls. Can't go wrong with those.
True. What makes 3D World so great is that it's got a really nice environment of vibrant colors and really nice music tracks to go along with it.
Yeah, the music's pretty good.
While it's not the most influential Mario game, it's definitely the most fun. And while it wouldn't exist without the presence of 64, it does exist, and it is now a better version of 64.
The movement system in 3D World's really polished. It's got a high skill ceiling. It's not the same way as 64, where you have like the execution side on like difficult glitches, but you do have a lot of challenging sort of movement where you've got to focus on your momentum more so than 64. So I think there's on like the sort of high skill ceiling section of gameplay, I do think that both of them do have their merits, and it's just they aren't the same sort of gameplay. We can cover the collectathon aspect. I don't think 64 was really a collectathon in the sense that they had one collectible.
Are you seriously suggesting that 3D World's sorry excuse for movement is anything at all similar to the refined, polished, amazing movement system in 64? Have you seen how many people are in that speedrunning community? Have you seen the crazy ass stuff that they have done? Wall kicks going off walls through the dimensions? How can you even refer to that way? I mean, with 3D World, guess what the most interesting thing you could do? You can grab your friends, put them up your head, and throw them off a cliff. Because that's what you're gonna do in that game.
Most of your points is because of the fact that 3D World was like made in like a more modern time than like 64, and it's honestly embarrassing that 3D World isn't as good as 64 when 3D World has all this modern technology.
And can I just say, collectathon, we have coins, and collectathon as a genre is defined by collecting specific items like stars. And might I remind you that your game came out on a system that literally nobody owns.
Okay, and that's it for the rebuttal.
3D World's pretty cool. I've said that in the first one too. 64's pretty lame, to be perfectly honest. Like, you say that the movement of 64 is refined, and then you have like glitchy wall kicks and BLJ and firsties. It's like, okay.
A lot of the parts of 64 that make it like super refined are unintended parts of the game.
Is that
whereas
refined? Huh?
Huh?
Is that refined if it's not
No,
intended?
it's not.
Have you played 64 and used its camera? Oops.
That's true. That's
Off
true.
the lap you go.
And 64 doesn't have any multiplayer. It's a
Yeah.
completely single player experience. You can't share it with anyone else. It's completely on your own.
If you can call what you have multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it
there's
is
no
multiplayer.
friends to
It's
throw off the
literally is
cliff.
multiplayer.
Nobody said that it was co-op.
Doesn't matter. That's just an advantage of the time period.
We actually have a game. It isn't just a dedicated game to screw over your friends. We have platforming, puzzles that doesn't require 2 brain cells and only coordination with your friends. So, what exactly is 3D World? Well, 3D World was created with the sole purpose of having multiplayer, whereas
It really
64
wasn't.
was
It
created
really
as a
wasn't.
flagship game for a console that stands on its own. It doesn't need no extra players because it's that good. Because having multiplayer doesn't make a game good, it just makes it good for parties. That's what 3D World is, a glorified
Yeah, what's
party
wrong
game.
with single player? There's
Party
like
games
plenty
are
of
really
good single
popular.
player
Actually,
games.
yeah. The whole Blue Ocean
Party
thing.
games have a
Like, you
lot
know
of
how the
merit.
Wii became the best-selling console
I'm sure,
of its
but
generation?
Nobody cares about Wii U.
Here's the thing, a Mario game is supposed to have
Yeah, I
refined
had a Wii.
platforming. You guys just throw each other off cliffs.
New
I don't
Super
know.
Mario
And you don't
Bros.
even
is one
have-
of the
you don't even
most
have
popular
online.
Mario
Yeah.
games.
And you can't say that
like-
3D World has bad level design or platforming.
It
The
does.
movement in 3D World is great.
It's
It's
actually
just
genuinely
so
really
good.
well refined.
You-
Plus, it got remade on the Switch, and it wasn't put in a 3-pack that was on for a limited time.
Yeah, good luck playing 64 now.
It got a real remake, and it got DLC.
And it got DLC, and the Captain Toad levels got spun
it
off
was
into their own
not
games
true.
with a
remade,
sequel.
It was just ported and they added an extra DLC.
That's
To be clear,
that's-
it was not remade.
Okay, that's true. It was ported.
I would pick 64 just because I felt like their arguments were backed by actual facts.
Yeah.
Where although your 3D World's arguments were strong, they also sort of just like said like it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't really like get into very strong details.
They're glaring at us.
64 wins.
Yeah.
Debate wise.
64 wins! Woo!